Hey everybody, Jerry here again with a little bit of everything. So in today's video, I wanted to discuss my experience at my local T-Mobile store last night. So where I work, cell phone service is very iffy unless you have like Verizon. Verizon was allowed to come and install micro towers in the building in order to provide service to everybody. However, none of the other carriers are allowed to do that, like AT&T, which is what I have now, T-Mobile, Sprint, etc., etc. So at my desk, where I sit, I get maybe 2 bars if I'm lucky. Maybe. I mean, it's enough to get me through the day if I need to make communications or whatever. But, it's not... I'm paying for full coverage and I don't get it. 9 hours of the day I'm at work. So, last night, yesterday while I was at work, I was checking T-Mobile's website. Because, everybody's been talking great about them. So I was like, let me give it a shot. Let me check it out. Their coverage map indicated that, and right where my building sits, that it has good coverage. So I said, okay, let me try it out. So last night, me and my girlfriend went to a T-Mobile store, and, I told them what it was and what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get a phone with service just to do a trial basis. And he was like, okay. He was like, let's run your history, your credit history. So I said, okay. Now, preface, I wasn't sure if I had a T-Mobile account previously, so I didn't, I wasn't sure if I did or I did. And if I did, it's been more than 7 years, so it may or may not have been written off and, or closed, or whatever the case may be. So, he opens up, he pulls my name, my social, everything. It showed that I had a T-Mobile account in 2008. August of 2008. Now, we're in February of 2017. Now, the statute of limitations on closed or charged off accounts is 7 years on your credit report. Now, here's where things got a little fishy, and what I found to be a little funny. T-Mobile, or I retract that. Any company operating in this country can write off their business losses. When a company discharges bad debt or an account that's gone to collections or whatever the situation may be, that loss is then thereby put off their balance sheet and onto their tax returns that they file at every year, like every business. So, with this knowledge, the money that I owe T-Mobile, which I have no issue saying, $400, that's what I owe them. Unfortunately, I didn't open up the account, my ex did, so whatever the case may be. So fine, whatever. So, moving forward, now, once an account's gone to collections for non-payment, right, it gets sent to a collection agency. The collection agency buys the debt. So the collection agency purchases the debt. So T-Mobile already got paid something for that debt, right? That's one. Now, let's say that debt is therefore uncollectible. That debt collection agency can write that off. So they got paid for something. So, a portion of that through their taxes. Now, T-Mobile, once that money's already been charged off, it's considered closed and, either paid or unpaid. So last night, when I went to the T-Mobile store and everything was ran, he said, look, you have an existing account from 2008 with a $400 balance. I said, it's possible. I was like, I haven't had T-Mobile in so many years. And I was like, and last time I had it, I didn't open the account, my ex did. Because she had my name, my social, and all that stuff. So, he was like, okay. I said, well, what would I have to do in order to get service? He was like, you'd have to pay that. And then we can, do a full credit report, and then we would see if T-Mobile would therefore extend service. I said, oh, okay. Now here's my point. My point is T-Mobile's already gotten the ability to write this money off on their taxes. They've already gotten money from the debt collection agency that probably went processed the debt, and that agency's already wrote off on their taxes. So these business practices have already allowed the companies to recoup their loss, but yet the company is still therefore trying. They're not actively collecting it, but they're putting it as a placeholder in order to turn a profit at that point, because that's exactly what it is. Because you've already theoretically been paid for that debt by other ways, other means. So I thought that was pretty interesting, considering after the statute of limitations on the debt on your credit report is 7 years. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But your mileage may vary. Personally, am I gonna fight it? I don't think so. I think what me and my girlfriend are gonna decide to do is probably go back to Verizon. I mean, it makes sense, but Verizon's expensive, more expensive than what we have as it is. And we have we have 2 phones with AT&T, so it's like, I mean, we're getting through. But I don't know. But yeah, so I just wanted to discuss that today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. But as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe.